Hi everyone, Dr. Liz here from Campbell Psychological Services in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And we are continuing our COVID-19 Tips for Kids and Families series. And today we're going to be talking some more about helping kids who are feeling especially anxious in the midst of the coronavirus. And we know there are a lot of those kiddos out there. So we want to share some suggestions for how to have conversations with them about what's going on in a way that might help alleviate some of their anxiety. So first, some general principles or ideas to keep in mind when you're talking to kids about coronavirus. One is, of course, to be age appropriate in terms of what's being shared with them, and think about sharing things on a need-to-know basis. So given the circumstances in your community, in your family, what is it your child really needs to know? What is it that directly affects them? And the rest you can probably set aside and they don't need to hear about it. Kids are going to take their cues from us in terms of our emotion and how we're responding. They look to adults. And so it's important to try to be calm and matter of fact when talking to kids about coronavirus, because if they get the sense that we are freaking out or that we're really worried about it and we're sharing those worries with them, they're going to assume that they need to be worried too. The overall goal when we're talking to kids about the coronavirus is that we want them to feel safe. We want them to feel that the adults have got this under control, that we are handling it, and they don't need to worry. So keep that in mind as you're having these conversations. The goal is for kids to feel safe. All right, so what are some of the things that you may need to talk to your child about or might be really important and helpful to have in the conversation? Obviously, they need to know what coronavirus is, and we will share some resources on our website that give some good examples of how to explain coronavirus in age-appropriate terms for kids. They don't need to know all the science behind it. Mostly, they just need to know that it's a virus that can cause people to get sick, much like the flu, and that most people recover quickly, but some people can get more sick from it. And so a lot of what we're doing right now is trying to prevent more people from getting sick with coronavirus than need to. We're trying to help people stay healthy. It can be really helpful for kids to feel like they have a little bit of control over the situation when they're feeling anxious. And so talking to them about specific things that they can do or are already doing can be really helpful. So talking about, washing their hands, coughing in their elbow, practicing social distancing, the fact that they're not going to school right now, and empowering your child with the sense that those are things that they can do that are making a difference. Along the same lines, you can talk with your child about things that your family is doing, which are probably going to be some of those same kinds of things, but talk about how as a family you're working to stay healthy, things that the adults in the house are doing to stay healthy. If you are in a situation where there are adults in your home who are in higher risk situations, like for instance, if you have family members who are in nursing or are in the healthcare profession and they are going to work where they are perhaps more exposed, and you have a child who's really freaked out and worried about that, it is probably helpful to talk to them again in simple, matter-of-fact terms about what sorts of steps are being taken at the workplace to help keep everybody safe, and perhaps what sorts of things you're doing when you get home to minimize bringing germs into the house so that the family stays healthy. And just giving the kids the sense that, again, we're all taking action, we're doing things to prevent other people from getting sick, and that, we've got a plan here. That can really be reassuring for kids. And speaking of reassurance, there are some important things you want to convey to your child to reassure them. One is explaining that most people who get the coronavirus recover from it within a couple of weeks. Most people don't get really sick, and the majority of people who get it do not end up in the hospital. So emphasizing that piece for them can be really reassuring. Reassuring them that the medical field is working on this, that doctors and nurses are working really hard to take care of the people who do need their attention, that there are scientists working on trying to develop a vaccine so that we can prevent people from getting coronavirus. And they're also working on medications to try to help people get better faster. And so that reassurance that there's things that are being worked on can be really helpful. Last but not least, it can be really helpful to remind kids that, especially if they're feeling really anxious about this, that this is temporary, that this current situation is not going to last forever, that yes, right now we're all staying home, but they will return to school, we will return to work, things will go back to the way that the kids remember them. For kids who have kind of a different sense of time than adults, it might feel to them that this is going to go on forever. So reassure them that it's not, that it's temporary. I hope that these tips are helpful to you. We're going to be sharing some more resources about, to guide you in having these conversations with your kids on our website. So you'll be able to find those at campbellpsychpa.com// whichever way the slash goes, resources/COVID19. And we encourage you to look there for more information. We will be continuing to bring you videos in the days to come, and hope that you will continue to follow along. Until then, be well.